Morning all, Tuesday morning, another busy day. Dad's gonna head out in the 8410 and Horsch Focus. He's got some spring drilling to do, spring barley for a mid-tier agreement scheme for unharvested cereals. Yeah, it's a farm that we farm that has a couple fields that are very wet and not worth trying to kind of get the crop out of. We've had instances before where we've grown the crop and you literally just cannot get onto the field to actually harvest it. So it was decided between ourselves and the landowners that they'd go into the scheme. So Dad's got that to drill, and then similar situation at another land block where we've got some spring cereal to go in and leave unharvested, and that will be the last of the spring cereal drilling, which is pretty good going. Not even April yet, and we've managed to get that sorted. And like I've said before, last year it was May before we even started. So yeah, we're kicking on. We've got George heading out in the sprayer. He's got some oats and barley T0s for a local customer to do, and Will is harvesting beet, and we've got the rest of the gang all on trailers. So he's harvesting beet in up near Braunton, in that final block. Yeah, the rest of them are on trailers, so they'll be hauling that back today. So plenty to show you, and I will I'll try and keep on top of it all. Should be easier for me to get round to everyone today, so I'll have a lot to show you. Dad's just loading up the seed corn, ready to load it into the drill. In yesterday's video, I did tease that there might be a new piece of equipment on the yard this morning. It arrived yesterday afternoon. So I have mentioned in a few other videos that you've seen of the Simba SLD cultivator being used, that we were in the process of kind of looking for a replacement. I even did a video of us demoing the Kuhn machine. We have gone with the Horsch Terrano. We've got a 4-meter Horsch Terrano now. It does a great job. We've seen it working. The legs here that rip into the ground, they are the same as the ones on the Focus that Dad uses to drill our cereals. So in terms of wearing parts, we'll be buying just more of the same leg rather than having to buy extra bits for a separate cultivator. We can buy in bulk on those legs, and we know the job it does. We know that it goes deep enough for what we want to do. And yeah, we will have a video of it working very quickly to show you, but for the time being, Andrew's on the trailer today, so that video is going to have to wait. But just thought I'd give you a little update as to what arrived yesterday, which does sadly mean that very soon the Simba will be leaving us. It's done brilliant work for us, to be honest. It's such a good machine, and yeah, it'll be sad to see it go. So earlier in the video I said Dad was off to drill spring barley for overwinter cereals unharvested for a customer. Before he does that, we actually have one field of our own to do. I'm I mentioned yesterday we had a bit of a disaster, and I did show you back in January we had one field that just, I think we drilled it a little bit too deep. It's had a lot of rabbit damage, and half the field is pretty much a write-off. So George sprayed it off with Roundup yesterday. We're going to put some spring barley in the top half of the field, leave the bottom half of the field to the wheat, because it should mature at a similar rate and be around the same timings for combining. I'll just show you kind of what we're looking at so you can understand why we've made that decision. So you can see here, this is in the top half of the field. A lot of the plants are there, but they've used so much energy getting out the ground, and they're obviously very, very sparse. They haven't grown a lot since January. And then further down the field, it's looking okay. So we've round up all of this area, and Dad is now drilling spring barley in the top half of the field, and yeah, they should mature at a similar kind of rate. So this will be the last of our spring crop going in. And what's doubly frustrating is that this field was a bit of an experiment field with a particular variety called Redrill, which is extremely high yielding, but very difficult to keep standing. Which is why kind of a lot of agronomists, if you speak to them, will say they don't particularly want to grow it, because as much as the yield looks great, the complications that come with it probably aren't worth it. So we thought we'd try one field and just see whether we could work our way around its standing problems. But now obviously we only have half a field to kind of experiment with. But I will keep you updated on how it gets on, what kind of growth regulators we might have to put on it just to keep it standing. But yeah, a bit frustrating, but sometimes these things happen. I know that a lot of farmers go through similar, that plans change even halfway through a crop. I mentioned there was rabbit damage. You can see all these holes. They're all little rabbit holes. They're in here digging. And yeah, they've just taken so much of the crop, leaving it, biting it back down to its roots, that eventually it will just give up and stop growing, unfortunately. And that's what we found. There's definitely worse places in the world to work. So this is a first for the year 2025. First time out with the power harrow. Got a local customer he's ploughed some fields and then pulled through it with a cultivator, and he's just asked us if we can run the power harrow over it as well before drilling. So Harry's in the 8R370. You should have the 7-meter Kuhn power harrow on the back. I'm going to go this side so that the dust doesn't blow in my face. So you will have seen the power harrows if you'd watched the machinery tour video. But as until now, they've not been out in the fields. You can see from what I was stood on before till now, it just breaks up that seed bed even more. You can just sink your fingers straight in. So Harry's in the 7-meter. We also run an 8-meter, which tends to be pulled by Dad in the 410. And yeah, this is the first outing of the year, but give it a couple of weeks and we'll be out in them most days before drilling beet and drilling maize, which with the weather we're having is getting closer and closer. We'll just watch one more pass. Hopefully here you'll get a decent idea of how the machine's working. Power harrow tines at the front of the machine. They go in deep and they spin. They break everything up and then rolled into a flat surface at the end. So we've dug beet all morning. Will Hammond is the last load of the day. He's just going to tip that in the pile and then put the telehandler on the way up, and we'll be washing this afternoon because the plant are completely out of their chopped beet for feeding. So we'll get it washed and chopped, and they can do today's feed, and they'll have a few days in the bank left to feed, and we'll dig again towards the end of the week. We found a little oil leak somewhere. Yeah, the back of the 370 got a bit of an oil leak, so Andrew's just blowing it out, trying to find where it's coming from so we can sort that one out. We noticed it as we were changing the drawbar on the back. So Ant and Blake have been tanking all day today again. They are actually now tanking digestate to our new block that you've seen quite a few videos of, where we've been clearing all the branches. We've roundups now. Now we're spreading some digestate on there, fertilising the ground before we work it down and drill maize in there. So they've been tanking there all day. See, Ant's just getting the loading arm in the cone. So he'll take up his liquid digestate from the lagoon and he'll head back out that way. So you guys will see the journey that field block's going to have from literally overgrown brambles to hopefully producing a good crop of maize for us. And we'll watch it being cultivated and drilled in the next few weeks. Immediately after Ant left, Blake came in round the corner. So they're both to and from the same block at the moment. So they'll be tanking together, avoiding some of the wood that's still left at the side of the fields that we still need to clear. But there are some fields up there clear, so they've been going all day. Back washing beet. Hopefully clear this whole pile tonight. If we can get that pile cleared, we can then have another good day's harvesting later in the week. This should cover them for this week's feed. And then come the end of the week, wash again and cover them for the weekend. Touch wood, no issues so far this afternoon on washing. So that was Tuesday. That'll be the end of today's video. Quite a lot on today. Yeah, saw some new gear and new jobs being done for the year. So hopefully that was an interesting one for you all. We've got an exciting one tomorrow as well. So I'll bring that one to you tomorrow evening. We've got a new piece of equipment coming tomorrow. Hopefully in the morning. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow's first job. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you tomorrow.